This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. कौन Kalyan? Okay. The last class we are discussing about diagnosis of pulmonary tuberculosis. Radiology, very important radiology. So first is actually sputum for the smear examination. I told you that you have to do it, and actually that has to be done very seriously and sincerely, because minimum 10 minutes has to be taken. Minimum about 300 fields have to be examined. At least of the 300, again you have to look for about 100 fields. So 100 fields, you have to give 1 plus 2 plus like this. This at least 100 fields that will be taken. I already told you that there should be about 10,000 to 50,000 bacilli should be present in 1 ml of sputum. Then only it will give positive report. The smear examination will give only positive report, and the sputum contains minimum 10,000 to 50,000 bacilli. Otherwise, it won't give. So, if you want to test actually whether positive or not, then you have to go for culture. Culture with the Lewinson-Jensen medium, that is solid culture there. So, but for smear examination, you have to do at least for minimum 10 minutes you have to spend. Minimum 10 minutes on each slide. So the report is given like this. For 100 higher emission fields, we don't get. Okay, we don't see any bacilli, then it is negative. And 1 to 9 for 100 higher immersion fields, you have to report as scanty. 10 to 99 for 100 IL immersion fields. At least that is 1 for one field, that is 1 plus. 1 to 10 for one field, that is 2 plus. More than 10 is 3 plus. So you have to report like this 1 plus, 2 plus, like this, depending upon the bacilli that are present. But you should know that 1 crore bacilli, 1 crore will be present in one cavity. One cavity, 1 crore will be there. So imagine, suppose the patient has got 2-3 cavities, multiple cavities may be there. We may be having crores of bacilli. Then it will become positive. Sometimes it will become negative. Then you have to go for the culture. Culture, I told you, then it will take at least 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks. Culture. 6 to 8 weeks will be there. And I told you various types. Photometric of culture methods, molecular methods are there. And the culture, then at least will take 6 to 8 weeks in case of routine culture, that is Lewinson-Jensen medium. Then of course, then is liquid culture like back-tested NGD that will give results. Back-test you will get it. MGAT you will get it in 2 to 3 weeks. Back-test you will get within 1 to 2 weeks. Sometimes you may get it within 8 or 7 days. Sometimes 5 days also. Then comes the molecular test. Molecular test like this. Expert, that is CVNAT. What is CVNAT? What is? Please expand the CVNAT. That is the latest technique.
Cartridge-based nucleic acid amplification.
Cartridge-based nucleic acid amplification, the CVNAT. The CVNAT test you will get it within 2 hours. And we did also give whether the patient is actually rifampicin resistant or sensitive, like that. So it's very sensitive test that can be used for both the pulmonary and extrapulmonary cases. Like the pulmonary, of course, sputum, extrapulmonary, like meningitis, you can send it for CSF, and of course, lymph node, you can send the lymph node material, you can send it, and the intestine, you can send it some biopsy material, you can send it, and the acidic fluid, like that, you can send it any of these specimens. That is known as CVNAT, or it is also known as expert MTB, expert MTB rifampicin. Expert MTB oblique rifampicin test is usually that is routinely done in Elur also, that we are doing here. So 2 hours it will take, and then PCR it will give it within 2 days, and BACTEC you will get it in 1 to 2 weeks. MGAT you will get it in 2 to 3 weeks. The routine culture it will get it in 6 to 8 weeks. That's how it goes about. Then coming to X-rays. Because radiography is confused. Because you may get many false positives. All those infiltrates, all those nodules that are present in the chest X-ray is not TB. Just like I told you that all that BGS is not bronchial asthma. All that BGS are not due to bronchial asthma. So apart from bronchial asthma, you know, the BGS are present in COPD, BGS are present in bronchiectasis, may be present in pulmonary tuberculosis, may be present in left ventricular failure. So that all that BGS is not asthma. So just like that, all those infiltrates may not be, all those cavities may not be pulmonary tuberculosis. Infiltrates, I told you, there are so many causes. Infiltrates, so many causes are there. Like you may get in, actually, you may get infiltrates, you may get in pulmonary tuberculosis routine, that what I expect. You may get in sarcoidosis, you may get in aspergillosis, you may get in bronchogenic carcinoma, you may get in pneumoconiosis, you may get in pulmonary embolism, like that. In so many cases, infiltrates may be there. It may be fungal. So like that, like cavities. Cavities are also present in so many cases. Cavity may be present in pulmonary tuberculosis. Cavity may be present in bronchogenic carcinoma. Cavity may be present in secondary carcinoma, secondary lung, or it may be secondary due to various, like in breast carcinoma, like that. And the cavities may be present in aspergillosis, like that. So just by seeing a nodule, or just by seeing an infiltrate or biliate infiltrates, and you cannot see it's a case of a cavity, you cannot see it's a case of pulmonary tuberculosis. What is more important is that this is a sputum microscopy, or actually, of course, CVNAT up from now. And other, actually, these are also important. This is lung cavities here, it is given, it may be neoplasm, it may be pulmonary infarction, it may be against granulomatosis, it may be lung abscess, it may be tuberculosis, it may be secondaries, like that. The miliary pattern also. I told you, many conditions are there. Like miliary mottling. When you find miliary mottling, don't think it is not just a disseminated tuberculosis. Miliary pattern may be present in case of histoplasmosis. It may be present in sarcoidosis. It may be present in pneumoconiosis. It may be present in chickenpox, or it may be present in pulmonary eosinophilia. So many conditions. Will be there. So that is how the diagnosis To do it. So what is more important is you have to diagnose the patient correctly. And today, actually, I'll take up treatment part. This treatment part, actually, it is very big. And actually, I want to take it in two classes. That is treatment, actually, which actually we were using, and why there are so many pitfalls, and what are the latest, that is RNTCP, reverse National Tuberculosis Control Program, what is actually it is, and I'll take it to the next class. First, I'll try to tell you what are the various drugs, how actually TB was treated, previously, and what are the pitfalls, why the TB is still rampage. This colony is a mycobacteria, you must see, like this. The expert, of course, I told you, get bandage here. ADA also I told you. ADA I told you, that is floral feed. Floral feed, you can see, you can try in floral feed, that is, it should be more than 40. And in case of CSF, it should be more than 10. Below 40 is not positive. Between, of course, some people say above 70, but actually now the latest is above 40 is significant positive. And coming to the treatment part, please just wait. ఇది వన్ పెట్టా ఇది అయిపోయింది ఇంకోటి నెక్స్ట్ చూడండి ఇంకోటి చూడండి ఇంకోటి టీబీ ట్రీట్మెంట్ కూడా ట్యూబర్క్యులోసిస్ ట్రీట్మెంట్ కూడా ఇప్పుడు అది కాకుండా ఇంకోటి పంపించిందా I see. Fine. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Drugs, what are the first line drugs? One of you please tell Ayesha, what are the first line drugs?
Isoniazid, rifampicin, ethambutol, pyrazinamide,
And
streptomycin.
streptomycin. They are the first HRZDS. HRZDS, they are the first line drugs. So what are the second line drugs? What are the second line drugs? Please tell some drugs at least.
Fluoroquinolones.
Fluoroquinolone. What else? So many drugs.
Injectable
Why?
streptomycin.
Come on. Come on. Streptomycin is actually first line drug. Streptomycin is actually first line drug. But the second line drugs are actually kanamycin, cobramycin, amikacin. They all belong to second line drugs. The second line drugs,
Levofloxacin,
they are
moxifloxacin.
very good. There are many. Thank you. Thank you. There are many drugs. So second line drugs are like this. So you must actually know why there are so many drugs. Why there are so many drugs? What happened? Because to treat pulmonary tuberculosis is not very easy. Just like any other bacterial disease, like in case of typhoid fever or in case of malaria or in case of other cholera like that, it's very easy. But tuberculosis actually the disease actually which develop resistance easily, develop resistance to various drugs. So there's so many drugs. There's so many drugs have to be given. So initially they were trying only these 5 drugs, that is streptomycin and isoniazid, rifampicin, the other first line drugs. So, but the people have become resistant because of various reasons. Because of various reasons. Of course, he has given all this various reasons. Actually, the tuberculosis control program, National Tuberculosis Program, NTP, started in the year 1962. So for the last so many years, 30 about 50 years, we have been fighting with the tuberculosis. Been fighting with the tuberculosis along with other countries, like small countries like Philippines, Bangladesh, South Africa, of course, big country like China. We are all actually Singapore, and all these countries are infested with tuberculosis for the last so many years. But I do not know what is happening in India. We are not able to control. I told you in the last class. Whereas Bangladesh is a small country, eradicated. But in India also, out of so many educated states like Andhra Pradesh, like East West Godavari, and then Krishna, then they are all educated. Andhra Pradesh is very well educated when compared to so many countries, states. but we are not able to control tuberculosis. But whereas Manipur is able to control tuberculosis. Manipur. So what do you understand by that? Understand by that means you must have discipline, you must have sincerity, and you must have compliance, you must have literacy. So like that, everything is important. Like in tuberculosis, so many factors are important. But so many factors are important. Why? We are not able to control tuberculosis. It may be because of illiteracy, or it may be because of vast population, or it may be because of not sincere of the healthcare workers, or it may be because of non-compliance on the part of the patient, or it may be because of long duration of the treatment, that is about 6 months. So all these factors added to India, as a result, we are losing about one child a day, like that. About 1,000 deaths will occur in case of India every day. You're surprised to know. So that is about tuberculosis. So actually, tuberculosis, the first line drugs actually, which was the first line that was invented. The first in actually it started in the year 1944. 1944, 82 actually the tuberculosis bacillus was discovered by Robert Koch. 1880 tuberculin test was done. 1944 Waxman invented streptomycin. Streptomycin that was the first drug to treat tuberculosis. After streptomycin, what are other drugs? Other drugs are para-amino-salicylic acid. We must know these drugs whether they are you are using or not. Of course, in some cases of resistant infection, we may be using, but you must know the history also. Why so much? Because as a doctor, as a young doctor, you must know that the amount of importance you have towards society. If you are careless, actually the infection will become rampant. Only, I think, in case of 2012, only the government has notified that TB is a notifiable disease. You just cannot treat it. Even Tom, Dick, and Harry used to treat tuberculosis for the last so many years. An RMP fellow, a medical stores, a medical, not even a doctor. So they are all treating. They are all treating tuberculosis without notifying the disease. So the TB has become rampant in India. So I think in 2012, the government made it a notified disease. Unless without telling the government, without notifying it, if you are treating, then you are punishable. So that's how. So because of the carelessness or so many illiteracy, long duration, whatever it is, tuberculosis has become very bad. But to about the drugs, okay, streptomycin first invented, and then para-amino-salicylic acid, PS granules will be there. Granules will be there. Next comes about INH, about 1950s, 1960s thiazolidine, 1970s like pyrazinamide and ethambutol. 1980 only after 1980 only the rifampicin. The rifampicin was actually invented. Rifampicin. So till then, the treatment of tuberculosis was more than a year. More than a year. After rifampicin, the treatment has become short course. That is, become only 12 months to 18 months. It has become only 6 months. 6 months with rifampicin. So that is how started. But with so many drugs, these 5 drugs are never not able to control, and so many, of course, you know, there are so many second life, so many resistant cases come up. And how do you treat? You just cannot give drugs like this. 5 drugs, all patients. 4 drugs, all the patients. 3 drugs, all the patients like that. So first, actually, you have to categorize. You must know categories. Unless you categorize, because it's a long duration of the treatment. Unless you categorize, then you cannot give treatment. So again, that tubercular bacilli actually they have to be killed. The first 2 months or 3 months they have to be killers. And again, of course, maintenance, not actually that resistance may not appear. So there are two phases. One is you have to categorize one, and again actually the two phases is what? How will you categorize? Unless you categorize, there are so many cases appearing for the last 50, 60 years, the last 60, 50 years. Unless we categorize them, we cannot do treatment. Not one antibiotic. In case of like typhoid, if you give, of course, there are 3 or 4 drugs. If you give just one antibiotic like ciprofloxacin, you may be able to treat. Ceftriaxone, you may be able to treat it. You do not have to use 3 or 4 drugs. But here, so many drugs. So, what is more important is you have to categorize. First, I will try to categorize in the old type. WHO classification has given here, I think 1992. So it has given categories. So many categories are there. So then about 1997, 1993, I think they have RNTCP has come into fibers. That is revised National Tuberculosis Control Program. That RNTCP they started in actually 93, but India has taken it over. India has taken it over, started following from 1997 onwards. 1990. The phase continued, RNTCP phase continued 1998 to 2005, that's the phase 1. And from 2005 to about 2011, actually, the second phase actually continued. That is how it goes in RNTCP. But their categories, the WHO given initial that you must know. You must know the old categories. You must know the old categories. And in the next class, I will come with the new categories, the latest categories, what actually happened to the old categories. The old categories are, there are 4 categories. What are the 4 categories? Category 1 is category 1. Actually, the previous categories were depending upon the microscope network. So they took actually microscope important. Next actually tested. The first is actually category 1. Category 1 is newly diagnosed sputum positive case. Newly diagnosed sputum positive case or less severely ill extrapulmonary cases. Less severely ill extra, like in case of pleural effusion, there is only unilateral pleural effusion, like that. Or lymph nodes, like that, simple cases. The category 2 is already treated cases. That is 3, and then failure, and then relapse, and then default. That is category 2. There are also sputum positive. The category 3 was sputum negative, X-ray positive. Sputum negative, X-ray positive. That is category. No, sorry. In the first category, actually severely ill. Actually severe. Sorry. First is sputum positive and severely ill, like the bilateral pleural effusion, and then tuberculosis of the spine, tuberculosis, meningitis, and all those cases actually category 1. Category 3 is sputum negative, X-ray positive, less seriously, like unilateral pleural effusion or lymph nodes like that. Of course, for actually the drug resistant cases, that was the previous. That we will first discuss today only those. What had happened later on, then I will come to the next class. So in these cases also category 1, 2, 3, 4 also, then again it's not very simple. And it's because of the long duration of treatment. Again, it has divided into intensive phase and continuous phase. Intensive phase 2 months and continuous phase for 4 months. In the intensive phase, all the first four drugs, rifampicin, isoniazid, ethambutol, pyrazinamide have to be given. Have to begin all the four drugs for the first 2 months. For the first 2 months. And in the next, actually, previously they were giving only rifampicin, isoniazid. Now the latest, of course, which comes in tomorrow class is you have to give in the continuous phase rifampicin, isoniazid, and ethambutol. Ethambutol is what it is now the latest. But actually, previously they were only giving for both the first category and two category. First category only this. Now, of course, we change that will come later. Why I want to impress upon him? Because you must know the history and various things. Because some examiners may be just asking only old, like old categories like that. So I just want to tell you both old and latest. So intensive phase you have to use for actually 3 drugs. And again for 4 drugs. Again actually for some days it has become actually thrice a weekly. Thrice a weekly they were giving for some days. That in here that is known as DOTS. DOTS means directly observed treatment short course. Where DOTS. And again that is also changed now. That is now changed into 99 dots. 99% we can be able to treat it. Like the dots, for some days actually that is um, 3 times a week. So again that has been discontinued now. Again for the last about in 2016 also now as daily doses. Previously daily doses has become dots. That is thrice in a week. Like that it has been changed. So many actually it has taken so many changes. So the last so many 50, 60 years. So the intensive phase actually you have to give for 4 months. The first line drugs kill active bacteria, early stage infection. Second line drugs prevent bacterial growth, strengthen treatment in the case of resistant bacteria, of course less efficient and generally more toxic than the first line drugs. This isoniazid, how the mode of action. This is the mode of action of pyrazinamide, ethambutol, rifampicin, streptomycin. So of course, important drugs. Individual drugs, isoniazid is bactericidal. Rifampicin is bactericidal. Streptomycin is bactericidal. Ethambutol is sometimes bactericidal and sometimes bactericidal, depending upon the dose. Fluoroquinolones is bactericidal. Pyrazinamide is either bacteriostatic and bactericidal. The treatment. What are the goals? The goals are to kill dividing bacilli and kill persisting bacilli and prevent emergence of resistance. So WHO has recommended DO-DOR, directly observed short course chemotherapy, short course DO, directly observed treatment, short course. So I told you the intensive phase you have to give these 4 drugs for 2 months, and actually intensive phase 2 drugs for 4 months, 2 drugs for 4 months. And the streptomycin, the dosage actually this will ask all the candidates in the viva. Then you have to use just like this 5, 10, 15, 25 like that. Isoniazid is 5 milligrams per kg body weight. Rifampicin is 10 milligrams per kg body weight. Ethambutol and streptomycin 15 milligrams per kg body weight. 25. Pyrazinamide is 25 milligrams per kg body weight. This is category 2, 3 like that. Category 2, 3 like this. So in category 1, I told you intensive phase is for 2 months, continuous phase is 4 months. That is total duration 6 months. Category 2 is mere positive. The retreatment goes, the labs, treatment failure, default, they all come under category 2. So what are these What are these relapse? What are these conditions? What actually you ought to know the definitions. Who is the relapse case? Ayesha, relapse.
So who has undergone treatment and the smear has come negative, but then again he came positive.
Very good. Very good. You said exactly. So the patient was given treatment for about 6 months. The patient was given treatment for about 6 months, and the doctor declared him cured. Again, when the patient comes with symptoms, then it's known as relapse. And who is the defaulter? The defaulter is newly diagnosed case. Actually, patient actually newly diagnosed sputum positive case. That is category 1. Newly diagnosed sputum positive case are a patient who has taken anti-tuberculosis treatment less than a month for about 25 days or for about 20 days. So the interesting part is after just taking only 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the patient will become more or less asymptomatic, symptom free. So you stop the treatment. So it's also new case. A newly diagnosed sputum positive case or a patient who has taken anti-tuberculosis treatment for less than a month. That is category 1. And category 2 is the defaulter means the patient who has taken more than a month, that is about 5 weeks or 6 weeks. The patient who has taken anti-tuberculosis treatment for about 5 or 6 weeks or more than a month and stopped or discontinued treatment for about more than 2 months. For about more than 2 months is a defaulter. But its photo will be smear positive. That is comes under category 2. So relapse, defaulter, and failure. Actually, previously what they used to do is under the 6 month treatment, actually, they were doing every two after intensive base 2 months, they were doing sputum examination. The sputum exam is positive. They used to continue this category 1 treatment for about 1 more month. So after 2 months, every month after about 4 like that, 2, 4, 6 or 5 like that, they were doing. So failure means the sputum positive even after 5 months treatment. Even after 5 months treatment, the sputum is positive in individual. That is a case of failure. So all these come under category 2. And the third category is smear negative. Because I told you in all tuberculosis patients, the sputum positivity will not be there. Why? The sputum, the sputum should contain, 10,000 bacilli. 10,000 bacilli, then only it will become positive. So, if the sputum was negative is there, but X-ray positive. But the X-ray also, the symptoms should also be there. Symptoms, what are the various symptoms I told you? Cough is more than 2 weeks, and the loss of appetite, weight, malaise, night sweats, sometimes hemoptysis. They're all symptoms of tuberculosis. So, along with symptomatology, smear negative, but X-ray is positive. X-ray is positive and less severe extrapulmonary tuberculosis. Less severe extrapulmonary is like lymph nodes or unilateral pleural situation like that. In all those conditions, category 3. And the treatment is also 6 months. Treatment is also 6 months. Of course, the treatment is actually they are actually previously they sometimes for some days they used to give only HRZ without ethambutol. But later on, actually they gave HRZD for 2 months and HR for 4 months. HR for 4 months. Like that. So the category 3. Of course, category 4 was also there. That was drug-resistant tuberculosis. So in case of drug-resistant tuberculosis, it may be monoresistant, polyresistant, multi-drug resistant, extensively drug resistant. It's a drug resistant. So, monoresistant, of course, it may be resistant to another drug. What is multi-drug resistant tuberculosis? Multi-drug tuberculosis is a patient who is resistant to both rifampicin and INH, or one of them. Rifampicin and INH, that is multi-drug resistant. He may be resistant to other drugs, other third or fourth drug. Or may be resistant, may not be resistant. But if they are resistant to these two drugs, rifampicin and INH is known as multi-drug resistance. But what is XDR? Extensive drug resistance. Extensive MDR is multi-drug resistant. Extensive is the drugs actually resistant to rifampicin and INH and are resistant to some people say to the mono, that is moxifloxacin, levofloxacin, fluoroquinolones may be resistant to one or maybe all fluoroquinolones. That is ciprofloxacin, levofloxacin, datifloxacin, and moxifloxacin, and injectable. And one of the injectables like apomycin, kanamycin, amikacin. So they are known as extensive drug resistant. The patient is resistant to rifampicin, INH, and to all the fluoroquinolones like ciprofloxacin, levofloxacin, datifloxacin, moxifloxacin, or one of the injectable drugs. One of the injectable types like capreomycin, kanamycin, and amikacin. Kanamycin, amikacin, if it is resistance is there, then it is known extensive drug resistance is there. So the resistance is important because so many cases because they are coming up because of so many reasons I told you. The multi-drug resistance is to at least isoniazid and rifampicin. Extensive drug resistance is MDR plus. MDR plus resistant to fluoroquinolones, and at least one of the three injectable drugs. Three injectable amikacin, kanamycin, capromycin are actually they are second line drugs. First line drug is streptomycin. They also belong to the same group amikacin, kanamycin, capromycin. So reasons for resistance. Reasons for resistance is reduced entry of the antibiotic into the pathogen, enhanced export of antibiotic by efflux pumps, release of microbial enzymes by the bacteria, alteration of microbial proteins, and development of alternative pathways to those inhibited by antibiotics. So of course, stage definition I told you, where the various case definitions, that is defaulter, failure, relapse, new case, case definition I told you. So this is very important. This is very important. Unless you know the case, whether it is a defaulter or is a relapse, that is a resistant or multi-drug resistant or extensive drug resistant. So unless you know the case, actually what actually the case, it is not easy to treat the permanent tuberculosis. Of course, mono resistant, polydrug resistant, rifampicin resistant, multi-drug resistant. The TB patient whose biological specimen is resistant to both isoniazid, rifampicin with or without to other first-line drugs. MDR patients may also have additional resistance to any of the drugs. Extensive drug, I told you, kanamycin, amikacin, capreomycin, along with fluoroquinolone. Of course, treatment of drug-sensitive tuberculosis. This is what actually we did. Actually, this is one latest, that is category. Of course, this will come tomorrow again. Because both categories 1 and 2 actually combined now. Of course, category 2 and 3 have been removed, and again the two categories, that is category 4 and category 5 have come. So tomorrow I'll take up the treatment what extensive the treatment part, what actually has happened, and what actually India is doing, and what actually you are facing now in India. So that I will stop here. I'll continue the class next class. Thank you for the patient hearing. Or of course, follow-up treatment. Of course, after completion of treatment, the patient should be followed at the end of 6, 12, 18, 24 months. Any clinical symptom under top photo microscopy should be considered. However, there was no provision of long-term follow-up in the previous guideline. One word about prevention. One word. Please stay. That's for 2 minutes. Preventing all asymptomatic patients or contacts under 6 years of age, smear positive case, ruling out activity irrespective of the BCG treatment. This is children who are under 6 years of age who are contacts to the smear positive case. Chemoprophylaxis is also recommended to all HIV infected children and all TST, tuberculosis sensitive test children who are receiving immunosuppressive therapy like nephrotic syndrome or leukemia. Our child born to a mother who was diagnosed to have TB in pregnancy should receive prophylaxis for 6 months. Previously, it was given 5 milligrams per kg body weight, isoniazid. Now it is 10 milligrams per kg body weight. Because various drugs. The latest drugs are bedaquiline and delamanid. Bedaquiline and delamanid. Please note, under clinical trials are pitomanid, SQ119, and PNA. This please note. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the patient hearing. I'll take treatment in the next class. The latest treatment I'll take up in the next class. Thank you. Again, attend.